Welcome to the Hampshire 1900 start for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. We're picking up on the 21st of August 1908, which I think is about 2-3 months on from the end of the last part. And the reason for the short gap is the fact that I want to try a bit more to develop the format where I show you the interesting bits. And of course, what I want to do in this part is show you the first harvest and talk a little bit about that. But before that, a bit of an update is I seriously doubt that we're going to be able to populate this town before the winter, simply because not everything is built. So, for example, we've finally got this built. We've got the vehicles in place because I started moving them in. But what we don't have built is the ability to process the waste. And what I would also like, if possible, is to start working on maybe another building down here. One of these buildings I'd like to kind of get built in. So what we're going to do is get them. Oh, we got that. Actually, that's not connected. Okay, let me just put this in here. You can come there. You can come there. You can connect there. Eventually I'll put a what we call it through here, a footpath through there. We've been building up our waste. I'm just tacking on a little bit of biological. It's super optimistic, but there's not much I can do about it. I have put food in here, which was a little bit too optimistic. But I really do want to get this built before we actually get in there. I mean, we still may actually get there, but it's debatable. But so the strategy is going to be I'm going to do this introduction, give you a bit of an update, talk about a few things, and then I'll cut the video and we'll come back again. Hopefully, I mean, if we can get this nearly finished by, say, again, see if I go in October, this will not have enough to actually drive the heating plant. Because we don't have okay. Anyway, so let's just get over to here. And over here, as you can see, the harvest has started. We are collecting crops in the silo. And just to show you here, the fallow fields now, this is up to 82%, this is 65%, this is 74%. So leaving these 3 fields fallow is going to help us in the next year. So I think we're going to have to use a kind of crop rotation cycle. This one here is still holding up quite well. So the harvest is going. Now, I've been doing a little bit of thinking here, and to be honest, I don't think this is going to really drive our economy strong enough. So I'm having a change of plan. We're going to delete you, and we are going to remove you. We're going to take you right through to there. We're going to remove that gravel road here. Okay, they've already been picked up. And what I'm going to do is redo the road so it comes in to about here. And what I'm thinking is to put a proper food and alcohol production in this corner, because eventually it might be able to provide enough food and alcohol to be able to allow us to have some form of expansion down towards Southampton. But at the very least, we can get something here that's going to be a little bit more economically viable. And just to show you, this is still operating because we're still 28 degrees Celsius. Now, you've probably watched the messages coming up here that we have finished our research. Now we have got an increase in birth rate again. And you can see that, well, it's not much of an increase in birth rate, but the population is growing. What I want to do now is possibly, I think preventative medicine might be a better way to go, because that means we can go up for stroke prevention and first aid education. So that might help as well. The other option is virology, but I think preventative medicine is probably the way to go, because these are the ones that have long-term continuous benefits. And by that, if you look in here, you see at the moment we've had 10 people who have had a stroke or a heart attack. And given the size of our population, that will have an effect. But of course, now we've done the research for drinking alcohol, we should get a health improvement from the alcohol addiction. Now, the other thing also is we've finished the, that's not it, that's the courthouse, it's this one here. What can I research here that might be, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to research influence radio, just so that we've got the necessary settings to be able to have an effect. If I come down to here, this is what we're researching. What this means is that when we actually do get round to building a radio, we will be able to set the sliders so it actually has an influence. So if you're going to go for radio, oops, keep hitting the courthouse. If you are going to go for radio, you do need this influence of radio to be able to kind of support that process. So that's done there. Beyond that, there's not that much going on. So we might as well just take a look at this area here. This is still producing some food. We are building up a little bit of food in this area, and we are slowly degrading our drain on the cash, but part of that's down to the fact that we're not really building anything. One thing, so we've got this here. What's this guy doing? Okay, he's picking up fertilizer. He's just sitting there, so hopefully so we can pick this fertilizer up, and that will go to the farm. In fact, I think I'm going to tag him, because I'm going to be very interested to see what actually happens when the fertilizer gets to the farm. So we're going to kind of keep an eye on this guy, and I'll just talk a little bit more about what I'm planning here. What I'm planning on is, if you watch my previous series, the Grand Design series, you'll be aware that I actually was using these buildings here, the small brick brewery and the rural bakery, to be able to produce this. This will produce 6 tons of food from 12 tons of crops, and this will produce 2.5 tons of alcohol from 11 tons. So that means that we are going to need to be able to get crops in here. So the thought process is that what we're going to do is get the bakery and the alcohol here, probably build a fairly large silo, and then we're going to push a farm out this way. We may have to do a bit of leveling. I don't know what the fields are going to be like here. Yeah, we're going to get truncated fields if we're not careful. So, I dropped a field by accident there. Okay, I've just lost the vehicle. I think this is the guy. This is the fertilizer guy. So let me just get back here. We'll just take a look at him. He will drop off the fertilizer here, but what I'm really interested in is to see if it will. Oh no, he's dropping directly into the actual. Now this guy's coming to deliver fertilizer here, and we've just got this. See where this guy is going. He's going to Medium Field 4. That is interesting. Now the reason I'm finding this interesting is the fact that this field is still growing, but we're using organic fertilizer on this field. Now he doesn't have much in there, but we're just going to see if he drops it off and see how much he changes the fertility, because of course we don't have anything in an actual nutrient level here. It's almost like that speeded up the overall process. Oh, he's actually harvesting. So sorry, that's a mistake, guys. Yeah, but it's almost like he took fertilizer with him. We got 3.6 tons of fertilizer in there. Okay. Maybe I was mistaken there. I was confused. We've got this first one going now, and we are. This one is so. Again, I think we're going to really need to work on our combines. I think what we'll do is that's 78%. This one. Right. Let me just put the fields back in again, so I don't forget. Put those in there. And then what I'll do, so that was 4 fields. What I'll do is I'll remove 4 fields from here. So it looks almost like the larger big fields are preserving some of their fertility. But that could be down to the fact that I very rarely ever fully harvest these. So that is a possible option. So we got one field here, one here, factoring. You can see that these have got nutrient levels in them. Where if you look at this one, it's got no nutrient level in it. So it looks almost like what happens is while these fields are dormant, they actually accumulate actual nutrient levels. Now that could be partly down to, well, it can't be the farm because these aren't social locative farms. Okay, well, so we may get an understanding of that. I'm not making any promises simply because of things that, as I say, the rest of the economy is going. This guy here is, we've got 2 workers here. Yeah, we got someone with 0 loyalty. Can we kill you off? Yeah, I'm going to be nasty here. I don't know if I can do this, but he is causing trouble. Go away. You're dragging my economy down, so you've been sent to the gulag of Newport. Again, we'll just see. I know I've got I had to get rid of 2 of them, but the other guy wasn't much better either. Yep. Your loyalty is too low. Well, tough luck, mate. You are now in exile. Newport Gulag. Anyway, I don't think there's much more else I can say at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut the video here. Oh, what's this guy doing? Oh no, he's coming up to here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut the video here. Just let the game play on because at the moment I'm just rambling. And I'll come back just say the end of November when the harvest is about to finish. So I will see you there. Welcome back. We have now reached the 23rd of October 1908. What's happened is the temperature has now dropped, so these are no longer working. So what I'm going to do is allow workforce into there because we should have a little bit of a spare workforce operating in this area. We're still not showing any unemployment because basically what's happening now is that the spare workforce that was working in these areas have now found other jobs to do. Possibly, I mean, ideally I would like them, if possible, to be getting a little bit more involved up here so that we're actually producing a little bit more in the way of clothes. And just to show you the economy now, I think last month we actually made a small profit, but we're now dropping because of course the profit now depends on, oh yeah, I also bought a vehicle as well, which probably didn't help matters very much. One thing I have noticed is that the prison bus down here, oh, he's got 5 prisoners on this time. He's not picking up prisoners every single trip, but I suppose he's making a small contribution. The other problem I'm getting is we're still getting these criminals coming in with 0, which is reducing their happiness. But the problem with this one is there's somebody next to him who is 38. It's got 31% loyalty. So I don't really want to get rid of that guy. But what we're doing, should be doing now, is scrapping out a few vehicles here. And just to give an update with respect to the crops, we kind of got most of the fields harvested. We've got so all we're down to now is this field here, which we might clear. Well, we probably will clear that one. But you can see here these large fields, I mean, they're still producing crops, but you see what's happening is that these will probably tap out a little bit. There is this field here which has got 13%, so I'm going to remove him. That one, let's have a look at the other fertilities. This is 13%. It's going to be a waste of time sowing that one. That's 77%. It's 131%. That's 87%. I'm aware that you can't see the numbers. That's why I'm kind of saying what they actually are. This is 88%. This one is 10%. So what you've got to do is wait until the fields have actually finished harvesting. Like this one is 10% now because it's finished. Because what tends to happen is that so what actually tends to happen is that the fertility adjusts once a field has actually been harvested. Yeah, I know. I did get another incidence of somebody coming out here, so I had to come and rescue them and bring them back into the fold. So I still got a little bit of leak through into random dwellings across there. Our demolition is going fairly well. They've nearly finished this bit here, and then hopefully what we'll be able to do is pick up from here. They just picked up another 3.6 tons, and then what we'll be able to do is put a gravel road from here, come in really tight, although we will need to get rid of this. What I'll probably do is build the gravel road in 2 stages. So that there are meat factories doing really well. I'm not sure if am I actually exporting any meat. Let me just have a quick look. Last month, yep. You see meat is fairly profitable as well. So we are getting a kind of equality of balance. Now, to be completely honest, I seriously doubt that we are going to be able to well, it's too late in the year now to populate this area here. So what I'm going to have to do is just keep running into the winter and finish off this technical office here. And we also need some garbage here. I think what I might do is how far can you cover? You cover this area here. Got an indoor pool here, but no real garbage collection here. And we got, this is a university which is gonna, but you're within range of that, aren't you? Let's see what this one is. You're in range. This is in range, so probably don't need a garbage there at the moment. I mean, we can compensate for here. I think we'll put a waste pickup here, although it's not particularly that efficient because these guys can store the waste here. So yeah, I don't feel the need to build too much here, to be honest, because it doesn't really fit with what we're doing. I don't know what the storage here is. Does the hydroelectric power actually, never considered the hydroelectric power, whether they actually generate waste or not. Have a look. Yeah, but they've got a full try and get some. I think what we will do is we, rather than waste up resources over there, we'll put one in here. That power cable goes over the top. What we'd have to do is build that there, and then hook you in like that, and then you should be in. I think you should be in range, shouldn't you? Yeah, you're 34 meters. Okay, let me. These guys have got absolutely nothing to do at the moment, so. And research-wise, when the moment we're still researching preventative medicine, but this university is really charging forward. We're now researching rail distribution officers. So basically this university now is in research everything that could be useful sometime in the future. You can see how fast this one is actually going. It's almost like he's turbocharged actually, considering he's only got 3 or 4 people on it. I don't know if that's down to the fact that these guys have got high loyalty. Let's just have a look at research and just see what I can build towards. Oops, don't want that. Obviously, we need to work through the medical. These are the technical university, which we haven't got at the moment, so we can't do anything about that. So, I mean, we will be working through these in the future. 1934 will be quite a big year to get that done. I've researched grand monuments. I forgot that. Take a look at that just to see if we can improve. In fact, that is a point. Have I put any monuments in here? No, I haven't. Oh, it's a bit of a fail. So we've now got this thing here. It's a tower. I don't know how much. What does this spread? This is 250 meters. We put this here, or we put it there. Okay, we'll finish the research. We could put it there. Yes, is any of these any better? Actually, this one is the Monument to Nicholas. Oh yeah, yeah. We're going to put the Monument of Nicholas. Actually, can we put this in the center, next to the church? That'd be brilliant if we could get you in there. Yeah, that would be. I think that would be quite a big step forward, because that will give us Nicholas the First. That would give us plus 2.5 over 350 meters, which is, let's compare it with, I mean, it's not as good as the Eternal Flame, but the range is greater. And plus it'll look, I think it'll look pretty cool next to the church or cathedral actually. Got a representation of the old Tsarist era. And of course this will get picked up automatically because these guys are on auto detect. We need this feeding yard set up. We need this. We need crops in the feeding. The feeding yard here. Part of me says I need a feeding yard over here as well, because of course we're not going to put fuel and stuff into this. It just load things up a little bit here. Right, we're now on the 14th of November. I want to stay in the vicinity of here for the next few minutes or so. I'm not really doing anything very much at the moment, so what I'll do is I'm just going to cut the video here and I'll come back as we approach the beginning of December, so you can see the end of the actual harvesting cycle, and then we can see how much we got in the silos. So I'll see you then. Welcome back. We are picking up on the 28th of November 1908. And just to give you an update of where we are with the fields, this field is nearly finished, but this one's still got quite a lot to go. But we are harvesting in real time now because all the other fields have been finished. Now, one problem that I have spotted since the last bit is the fact that my courthouse now is backing up, and that's down to the fact that I didn't have enough staff. So what I've had to do is increase the staff in the courthouse, and we also had a little bit of a backlog of people in the police station. That means that we're probably going to get a little bit of a surge with respect to the prison. So we're going to need to take this up to maximum now, which is again going to suck up our workforce. We really do need to be able to get our population growing. Just check the preventative medicine is still going. looks like we've now finished this. There's no point. I think what I'm going to do is just going to keep researching this stuff. We're going to do tourist visa. That's 2,000. I think we'll get cars for law, education for loyalty. What I'm going to do is just do these out simply because I can do it. Right. What we're going to do is we're now approaching the 2nd of December. So what we're going to do is just sit here and see what happens, how much we actually lose. You can see here at the moment the fertility is 150%. There we are. We just see it's just gone now. We've now lost what's here. So we lost some crops from these two fields. So we still haven't reached the point yet where we can actually harvest everything in here. But you can see the fact that we didn't harvest all the crops means that we still preserves the fertility. So there's an argument that you could say that having a couple of big fields can be quite useful to preserve your fertility, because of course you've got to remember this is 136% fertility on a field that will provide 300 tons of crops. So, and what we've now got is we got this here, and what we're going to do now is come all the way down and make sure we got them. Yep. And we're going to tell them to load crops from here. And what these guys will do now is they will keep ensure that that was go there. I mean, it's a little bit fiddly micromanagement, but this is the reality of life when you do an early start. Over here, it looks like our road is now being removed here. So we're just going to get rid of this mud road. Here. No workers or mechanism. I thought I had a omnibus in here. Got an omnibus in here. Don't tell me it's not going to let me get here. I'm sure I've set this up to pick up workers. Okay, we've got no workers. Okay, haha. Get them on that. A bit of a fail there on my part. What we will do now, I think what I will do is plan I think that should be good enough. And what we can do is our road crew should pick that up. See, part of me says that we're not doing much at the moment. What I am going to do is I'm going to get the groundworks crew on this, because I think if we can make this connection through, simply because if we can take advantage of the downtime at the moment to actually build this, that would be useful in the future, because then it means that what we will have the option of, if we have to import crops to feed our industry here, they will have a direct route and they won't have to come through here. So I think that's about it for the moment. Just to give you a bit of an update of what's going on over here. Not much. We are still planning through trying to get things done. So there. So what I'm going to do now is, again, I'm going to cut the video, play through until March, and then what we'll do is pick up, and then hopefully by then we will be in a position to be close enough to be able to start considering populating this new town. So I'll see you once we get to March. Welcome back. We are picking up on the 9th of March 1909. So we've got through the winter, I think, without any major disasters, and we are now very close to being able to populate this new town over on this side of the map. And but there's one slight technical problem, and that is the fact that I was doing my pre-population checks, if there's such a thing as that, and I've realized that I haven't got power to this waste treatment plant here. So what I've done is I put in another substation, because I've already run out of connections on this one, and also I didn't really want to run long cables over this way anyway, because I think we've got an opportunity over here to use this space to try and get a little bit of possible enterprise going, because the one thing we've got going in our favor is the fact if I can kind of reclaim land here, because I did make a start over here but I didn't get very far with respect to oil. So hopefully we may actually get out that far. Actually, I just want to try something. Okay, we need to get out here with 3 excavators. So what I've got at the moment is we've got this in the process of being built. Everything is on high priority. If I go underground, you'll see I've got a 5 megawatt line going out to underground line here, because I want to keep everything looking tidy. I don't want pylons and all that over here to this substation here, and we've got a double connection to here, but at the moment we're only building the main power line, because really all we've got to do is get power into here and then we'll be good to go. The rest of what's going on in this area, with some buildings that are not quite complete, we are working on the actual monument to Nicholas I. And as I say, you can see there's a few buildings that need to be built, but I think I've got enough to kind of get things set up and ready to go. So at the moment we're just going to wait until this area here needs to be collected. One thing I do need to do is set up this, and what we're going to, I haven't got I have got a distribution office over there I can use, can't I? Right, so what I'm going to need to do here is bring in, you look at waste trucks. What I want, we're going to sort by capacity. We've got a steamer one here which is 6.5. I don't really want to use that for collections, because what we're going to need to do is, I think in some ways using the smaller wagons is probably more efficient than here. We've got a large container wagon which is 3.6. Actually sort by speed. I think we've got the Russo Bolt here, which came available this year in 1909. I think it was January this came, but I think what we're going to get is, this is a small container. We're going to get 2 of those. And okay, it looks like we're going to need a couple of these. This is a large one. We're going to get a couple of those to get going with. And what we're going to do is set everything onto there for the moment. And then I think, what have I got here? This is the shop supplies. We got this one here. I'd like to keep the big one for other purposes. So what we're going to do is we'll call this waste removal for the moment. We may, whoops. And what we're going to do is bring in, again, we're going to need some waste trucks. We won't need that many to begin with. Okay, sort by capacity. Again, I think we'll get 1, 2. These are expensive, so we're going to be a bit careful. And you're going to pick up there. And we're going to drop off there and there for the moment. So these have fuel. Nope, right. We need to get fuel into these. Whoops. Nope. This is always the problem. Queues at the border. But that's just the reality of what we've actually got to do. Hopefully we'll be able to manage this. One thing I do want to start looking at sometime will be the rail network. So eventually what we're going to need to do is connect this to this, but for the transport of goods. So that's going to be something else that we're going to need to work on. Anyway, we can let everything trundle along here quite nicely at the moment. I mean, to begin with, we got enough storage in these with respect to the waste so that we can dispose of it. Right. So while that's going on, we're going to flip back over to here. Don't know if you guys saw it. We got another broken down vehicle slowly making its way back to Eastleigh. Up here, we've finally built this bridge, so we've now got a proper road connection through to here. This is being built, and hopefully this looks like this is being built as well. So I'm kind of just want to look at something. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slip a mud footpath into there, because what I would like to do, if possible, can I remove these? Okay, this is one road. Good. What I want to do is get this section of road gravelled so that we can do anything. Just see if we can. We can't. We don't have much range left now, but that's okay. We can afford the disruption here with the amount of workers. Over here, our farm fields are being sown, and one of the curiosities of doing this crop rotation is that I'm actually rotating the order of the fields. You can see the two big fields have now been sown first. So hopefully that might actually give these a bit more of a chance to be harvested if they finish first. The downside is that may actually all go completely wrong. We're getting quite a lot of workers into here, so we are churning out a fair amount of food. I did have a little bit of a scare, not with this one, but with this one, in the sense that I've suddenly realized that this one was getting low on food, because of course we're now using food down to our alcohol, our hunting hut here. And to show you the economy, we go back to last month, we I think my kind of little surge here, see, we kind of were making a reasonable amount from clothes, some from meat, a little bit of fabric, a little bit of boards. And you can see, but I mean, if I hadn't bought the vehicles, we would have made a profit that month. So we're kind of at the moment just teetering on a profit margin. And you can see here at the moment, because we're it looks like we've imported some food and alcohol, because of course we're not producing enough food and alcohol. But what I want to do is fix that once we've got into this area, but we're not going to do it in what's left of this video, because what I want to do here, stop production. Okay, always get odd vehicles, messages coming in from there. I mean, I'm quite surprised actually that, considering we got a population 2,400, that we are still able to get this operational, which is quite surprising actually. Beyond that, there's not much we can kind of work on at the moment. I mean, the population research wise is probably worth talking about a little bit. I've now exhausted all the current kind of I've forgotten what research, brain's faded, sorry about this, still quite warm at the moment, is the party headquarters research. If I take you through that, we've now finished preventative medicine. I think I'm working on boosting the birth rate again. We got a lot of technical stuff that still needs to be done, but nothing that's particularly important. One thing I would like to do is come down this route to get to steel cables, so that we can possibly start to use cableways. There's not much point opening up this area here at the moment. Airport infrastructure is a possibility. So we're now kind of running into the time locks here. We could possibly do Soviet function, but you can see here most of the party headquarters research has now been done. We've got the radio station, and I'm still trying to hold off on actually implementing that. And you can see we've also now got rail distribution offices, although what we're going to do with them, I have absolutely no idea. And so we are got that. If I show you the economy, you can see that the population is kind of a little bit icky sticky. It's not really growing as fast as it should be. I mean, I got a good happiness. The loyalty is still kind of hanging in there at 33%. It really needs to be higher, but I think without radio, we're not really going to be able to push that loyalty up as high as we'd like it. Because the problem is, like with the prison here, that you can give your population a high loyalty when they come out of education. The problem is that this effect wears off quite quickly. You can see here we've got children here with 39%, but we're not really passing that on. I don't know what the university is like. Okay, it's obviously we're not. Again, you can see they're coming out with 39%. This will keep the influence of this will kind of keep the kind of loyalty under control, but we're not going to be able to push it up higher, because it's very important to understand that these monuments will only push up the loyalty to a cap of around 35-40% anyway. And therefore, although that these kind of maintain the loyalty and can slowly increase the loyalty in areas like this, but what you will find is that, see here, the loyalty is 33% here. The happiness is actually built up here actually as well, which is good. So you can't really push the loyalty up too high without radio, is probably the best way to describe it. Anyway, let's just get back over here, because I don't want this video to be too long. Right, this is built. This is pretty close. How's this one going? Wait. This one's coming along quite nicely. So I think we're nearly there. That's been built. If we can get these a little bit closer, then we can go for the population process. Of course, it's going to cost a fortune to do this. Now, while I'm seeing we're here, we might as well talk about how the population is. To begin with, we're looking at a population of about 400 or 500. Actually, let me just. Yeah, we've got food in there. We've got ambulances. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. I think I built a. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I knew I forgot to do something. Yeah, I built this doctor's surgery because these guys were suffering health problems. But obviously I forgot to put in the wagon. Okay, yeah, you've got a problem with hazardous waste as well. I forgot that. Okay, right. We're going to open up hazardous waste there as well, because yeah, he's only got small storage here for hazardous waste. That's not good, and it's a bit of a waste. So that's just a bit of a correction there. Hopefully we will get this road finished and open up that. So while we're here, I just want to talk. Probably the next project is, well, the next project is to get in the point where we're actually making some money like this on a regular basis every month. It won't be a vast amount, but if we can get enough money rolling in, we'll be able to grow the economy. And to that end is what we'll be doing in the next part, is looking to plan our proper food and alcohol production here, and possibly another farm out here going this way, because we've got a bit of flat area there. I mean, it won't be a big farm, but if we can get a farm out here as well. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. And then what we can do is start to grow the area down here. In fact, while I'm here, let's have a quick look at 3 flats. We don't actually have as much spare accommodation. We got a little bit of, that's full now. Okay. We may need to look at, that is full. Got a little bit of space there. Yeah, we may need to look at, part of me says here, putting a building here, but it's a bit close to this area here. I don't know, can we, let me just look at something. What is this? Requires pollution detector. Is that time locked? Let me just see. It's not, but it's technical university. But I think what we can do though is, if we're going to have something down here, what we could do is put a couple more historic, because we've got a store here. Okay, let me just plan in this, and then we'll get back to here. His residential. I'm going to stick with the historicals. Actually, no. These are 82%, and these have got a smaller footprint, and they have the same capacity as these. So what we can do is, if I put you, I think if I put one there like that, another one there, another one there, and another one there, like that. And then what we can do is, we'll do this in asphalt, because we want the walking distance. And you can turn that corner, come down to here, come into there. And you get, yeah, you don't have the distance down to here yet, but you could. And then what we can do is put some more in here. So that gives us another population of number 400. And then we can fill these in. I'm not going to worry about that. That's a waste of time. Don't remove you there. Just put in, I think we're, can you get to the, yeah, you can get to the store. That's good. And you can build there. Okay, right, I'm getting distracted. How are we doing here? How close are we? Pretty close now. Right, this guy is just about, where are you? Okay, this guy's on the way to deliver the electrical components. What we're going to do is just follow him for the moment. So we'll just follow him. Once he's made that delivery, we might be able to be close enough to do the final bit, because we can get away with a little bit of sewage contamination to begin with. It's the downside of building this thingy here. So I'm just going to follow him, and I'll see once we get that sussed out. Okay, welcome back. It looks like this cable here has now been finished. So I think we're close enough now to get the population in. And of course, the first one final check. We've got the gravel there. Good. So we've got the water. Right. So here we go. We are going to start with putting some people, a few people in here. We're going to bring in Western immigrants, so we can turn that on. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll put about 60 in there. Put you onto there, and then just let it run. Just make sure you're. Yep. Then we're going to put about 20 in there. And you need to keep this as busy as possible. Right, so we got beginnings of a population going. Okay, right, we're going to put some more population into here. I say this is going to cost an absolute fortune. Got that there. Right, what I need to do, I just noticed we're going to get the university underway and that underway. We got we need these guys. We don't need the heating plant just yet. Okay, let me just let the game run. Yeah, we're not worried about the. Oh, we don't have any meat. Bit of a fail there. Okay. Just double check that we haven't got. Okay, bit of a failure. Well, if we lose population, free depot, refrigeration truck, speed, actually capacity. Well, buy one of those. Do we have power? We got power. What's this here? I'm going to put some people in this historic apartment. Just as a kind of filler. This is where things can get a little bit tedious sometimes. Because we need to get allow people to move into these now. That's okay. We've got water. And this says it's got no power supply at the moment, so we need to finish this. And if we get that power supply running, that will be it. And we should be okay. We got the pub going as well. There's no doctors with a higher education. Right, we're going to need to bring in some experts. That could be an issue. Yeah, I mean, we could move educated people over from our other town if we necessary. We don't really need 15 people in the indoor pool at the moment. We can drop that right down as well. How are we doing? Old school block is we've got people. I think these teachers are being sucked into the old school block here. Right, we've got teachers there. old cinema building. The kindergarten is going good. Let's have a look at the happiness. Right, we've got good happiness, but that's always is when you bring in foreign workers. But that could change pretty quickly if we're not careful. So we're probably going to need a town hall here so we can keep an eye on. Can't access the kindergarten. Okay. Well, you're in range. Are you in range? Yeah. I think it's down to the walking distance, isn't it? Can't get me. Yeah. Yes, forgot about that. We're going to have to import the meat. Come to here. And of course you're going to wait until unloaded. Right, we've now got the wood cutting post here, which is something I've forgotten all about. We don't, I mean, the temperature's a bit low at the moment, but what we do need is the wood cutting post operating. Probably going to need a few more people into here. I think what I will do is we're going to bring in, kind of fill this building up a bit, because what's draining into here is this area here. I don't think anyone's going to be able to get to the wood cutting post. Yeah, so we've got a bit of a weakness here in the sense that this is the only building that will supply workers to the wood cutting post. So we're going to need to keep an eye on that. This is the one supplying the workers to here. I think we're looking good now. Obviously, because the flashing is not really worth worrying about, because what that flashing means is that it says we cannot export wastewater. Do we have a connection problem here? Let's just see if this is actually flowing. Because sometimes you don't have a... I'm wondering if this is actually properly connected. This could be an issue if it isn't. Well, it seems to be connected. And the sewage is getting into here. But what worries me is this is building up a bit. This is tank export. I'm a little bit worried about this. Let me just check something over here. Come to here. See, that's telling me the discharge. Now, if we go back over to here. This is saying the discharge is 0. What I'm going to do is, just in case, because it's not, because we can't afford this to fill up. So what I'm going to do is, because if that's not working properly, we will have problems, because we've got nowhere to dump off from. And that will be a problem. I mean, we've got enough for this to store, but I'm just very concerned. I'm trying to trap that. We cannot store, export water, wastewater. Yeah, I got a feeling this is a bad connection. But having said that, it looks like a good connection. I mean, it goes from there to there. Okay, we're gonna build that pipe, duplicate that pipe, and see if that actually fixes it. If it doesn't, we're gonna have a problem. because the only option would be then is that we bring in some people, pick up the water from there and dump it to the border. I mean, what I might do is actually see, we can't pick up from here because there's no road connection. We're a bit stymied, although what we can do is pick up from over here. Well, we're going to go with it for the moment and just see how things run. And we'll just see how well that will actually work. Oh, maybe it had to build up a capacity. So it is doing stuff. It's just been a bit inconsistent. Okay. Well, we're going to build the pipe anyway because eventually we're going to need it. So I think what's happening then is it's just sporadic, isn't it? Because there's so little flowing through the system. Okay, panic over. Oh, whew, that was... Oh, that we've actually got fountains. That's pretty cool. Actually, we'll wait till it gets daylight. We'll take a picture of the St. Nicholas statue. That looks pretty awesome, actually. We are building logs up here. I think the next step we're going to need to do is finish off this. So if this guy, how much work have you got? Oh, you've only got the plumbing to do. Good. Right. What we're going to do is finish off that and that. Maybe that as well. We got the linen factory here. But what we'll do is get the factory connections built here. We can get the carpenter's workshop done. I know it's not much of a thing, but we can then store boards in here. And then that will give us at least one saving state that we can actually work on. I think beyond that we are looking good. We're not going to give them electronics at the moment. We're just going to be giving them food, clothes. If they get through the first winter, then we'll be okay. There's no heating plant at the moment, isn't it? Because at the moment all the heating comes from this here because we haven't grown. What we will be doing is probably expanding the town in this way. Haha. I saw somebody breaking down. Right, we're just going to follow this guy. One thing we are going to need is the repair workshop, actually, come to think of it. We need this built as well. Right, we're just going to follow this guy. Let him drop off the boards wherever he's got to go. Is the plumbing, and then we'll send him on his merry way to be scrapped. I mean, if you look at this vehicle's 9 years old now. It's one of the first vehicles that we built in the game. But to be honest, at 90% wear and tear, it's just not worth trying to get it fixed. You're in Warstok construction office. You can come over here. And we will... I think that vehicle that was breaking down is still making their way over the map here. Broken vehicle, yeah. Yep, he's finally arrived. That's the omnibus. Right, let's just get back over to here. And... what was it? It was an open hole, wasn't it? So we need another replacement open hole here. I'm tempted to spend the money on that, but at the same time, will it be necessary? That's 22, that's 18. Let's go for speed. The Russo bolt is capacity. Right, I think we're gonna just bring in another one of those. Do the deliveries. We need to get this built. How far can the workforce get to it? Yep. And we got workers in there. Okay. Right, I'm aware that I'm running out of time on this video, so what I'm going to do now is just do a quick run over here. Wow, we're getting a lot of sewage out of here. I think what we might need to do is start thinking a little bit about modernizing this area. We've nearly finished this road here. You can see now where our crops have been done. I'll see what once we are actually running out of crops here on the 5th of June, hopefully there's still enough to get into there. So we are now producing quite a lot. Let's check the research. Yep, okay, professors. Actually, I didn't check the university. Is the university finished over here? How are you? I think we're going to just make sure. Just going to push the priority on the university now. I think that we need to get this done so that we can start researching some technical research. Okay. Waste. I can't spell it. Okay, you guys can push this up to here, 80%. 90%. These have got fuel. Okay. So this is good. And one thing, go back to here. These seem to be burning almost constantly now. So I think we're going to need to start thinking about waste, but that is all going to be the subject of the next part. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.